recording. So hey guys, and welcome to Tory Bash Takeover. This is HXCBBQIMO, or HAT, and with me today is a guy who needs absolutely no introduction, Hampa, maker of Tory Bash. So, hey Hampa, how's it going?
Good.
So, first thing I want to talk to you about is what is the direction that you like to take Tory Bash to? Where do you see it going, and what do you have planned for the future?
I want to make it more competitive.
Right.
And I want to make it more exciting for spectators.
So what do you think would help the spectating? Because that's sort of a big deal about Tory Bash, is everyone's waiting in line, everyone's spectating. How are we going to make spectating more interesting?
I think the best suggestion I've heard so far is to add ghost updates for the spectators. So you can actually see what both players are doing as they're trying to outsmart their opponents.
That's an interesting idea. I've heard...
In that case, it would be like an administrator could set it. Can everybody see it? Only spectators? Or, both players. So there would be some options to make it, to prevent any form of cheating with it.
One suggestion I saw, and I know this is a little far-fetched, and more than confidently it's going to be a lot of programming, but one person suggested maybe even just head avatars of your texture showed in line, not sort of in a way like we're in a stadium watching you guys fight, maybe interacting with some simple emoticons or something, just to make it feel like you're still a part of the action even though you're not actually playing the game.
I like that. Yeah.
With Tory Bash being an esport, or rather that being your hope, what mods do you feel would be most competent for it, and if anything, what would you change about Tory Bash's programming to make it more compatible towards an esport?
I think the dismemberment and the fractures are too simple. It could be some like delayed dismemberments, or you should be able to configure the thresholds for dismemberment more finely to create more interesting mods.
That's an interesting point. There's a lot of discrepancy because I don't think you've officially ever released how exactly points are calculated. So I think a lot of people are kind of curious, how does the point system work? What should we do if we want to maximize our points, and how can we be the best player?
So the points take into account what body part you hit. So, for instance, for the head, there's a multiplier by 100, I think. Down to the hands, which is a multiplier of 0, so it doesn't do any points. And it takes into account the angle of impact. It takes into account the amount of force created to push out the body part. So hitting deeper is one way of getting more points. And there's a lot of code involved with the actual score mechanism. We had one guy on IRC the other day. He was asking about it, so I started looking around what actually goes on there.
Right.
And there's been a lot of small fixes and changes. Like the knees, like when they're bent, for instance, it's much harder for them to break than when they are straight. And if you hit something, let's say you hit the knee from the side, it's more easy for it to break than you hit the knee from in front. So you need to get like a perfect angle of impact to do dismemberment. Then it's quite easy. You get exactly pretty much the same angle as the hinge rotation is.
Is there any plans to actually release the data about how points are scored and how dismemberments are calculated? That way maybe with more frame data, the game could get a little more competitive?
I have no problem with that. I think I could give it to, I think it was Yalis who asked on IRC about it. And sure, I show it to him.
That would
maybe you can sort of dig down and see what actually happens.
That would be really cool, because I think a lot of people would evolve their style if they... I think a lot of people have presumptions of how it works, and there's some obvious ones. Obviously, you hit them in the head, it hurts a lot. But the more we know about the inner workings in the game, the more we can strive to be successful in it.
Yeah, find ways to optimize. Like some of the groin boxes gets a lot of score as well, but they're kind of hidden inside one of the glute joints.
Right.
So I guess there's a sweet spot in there somewhere.
We've certainly...
Am I winning or losing now?
I'm kind of curious to see if you win or lose right now. I'm a little nervous due to the fact that I have a little bit... I'm running on 13 FPS due to the fact that I'm using Skype and I'm recording and I'm running Tory Bash. So...
You'll win anyways.
Oh, we'll see. I guess that wushu skill paid off. I'm able to not DQ there. Now, I'm in the understanding that there are a lot more developers for Tory Bash, at least compared to back in the day. How do you feel the flow is going with all of the extra development work, and do you feel like you're being able to crunch out a lot more? Is there problems that kind of exist sometimes when there's more developers than just yourself, or how do you typically feel about all that?
I think the main problem now is we have had some problem with testing. Like there's so many features, and we need to test all the old features. So testing is the biggest part of the game, and there's so many different operating systems and graphic cards.
Is this testing as in like the beta testings that get released on the forums, or?
Yeah, so that doesn't really work, because now we did beta testing for a while on the forum, but I think most players just wait until the full release.
Right.
And then even when we release, we get almost instantaneously we get bug reports that it crashes on my Windows 8 with this graphic cards or something. It's just I'm trying to figure out what's the best way to do that.
But overall, has it been a pretty pleasant experience having all that extra help around?
Yeah, of course. It's fun.
Awesome. I have my first funny question, because I did poll these the viewers here that have been here for about 2 hours and 45 minutes now, just because they're so excited to see you. I promised them I'd ask a few questions.
All right.
So here's the first viewer question. When's your birthday? Because they want to do something special.
It's 1st of February.
1st of February. Alright, guys. Just so you know, make them a cake. Like, comment, subscribe if you're a baker, so we can get a Hampa cake for him for his birthday. And have you ever heard of the Pokemon series?
Yes, of course. But I never played Pokemon.
If so, do you have a favorite?
Oh, shit. No, I don't have a favorite Pokemon.
Okay. Getting back to the personal questions, what inspired you to make with this concept? I mean, it's such a unique concept for a game. There's not a fighting game out this that I'm aware of, especially to this level of depth. So were you just a big wrestling fan? I know that you had a background a bit in martial arts, but what really drove you to be both a programmer and make Tory Bash?
Yes, I've done judo since I was a kid, so I came up with the game while training judo.
Now, was it always the plan to be a coder and making games, or were there other things that you thought you would probably do?
No, I started working as a programmer. I did a lot of phone companies, things like that, mobile. But then making games is more fun.
And obviously, you don't want to put a timeline on this, but I'm genuinely curious. How long is it possible, or do you feel that Tory Bash can run? Because we've done a really good streak so far. Most competitive games can easily crack into 12 years, and I imagine that the running cost of Tory Bash is a lot cheaper than, say, a big release title. So where do you see, if there is one, a reasonable timeline on Tori Bash? And where's the transition from there?
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm back.
All right, we're back. Sorry about that, folks. We had a slight internet issue.
Yeah, I don't know. 20, 10 years, 30, 40, 50.
No plans for dismissal at this point, huh? Is there a natural transition for you out of Tori Bash? Is there another idea that you really want to pursue, and maybe if Tori Bash wasn't here, you'd be working on it more?
Yeah, so the game pretty much prevents me to make other games, except very simple one. Because it's quite time consuming. But I'm okay with that. It doesn't really matter if it's this game or not. Still programming is the same kind of.
Right. If you were to make another game that weren't Tori Bash, what would the genre be, and what would be the premise for it?
Space game.
Space game?
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know.
That's fine. I was just curious to see if there was some sort of natural transition for you.
I don't. At the moment, I don't think so. No.
That's good. That's good to hear. At least we know it's secure. Which of the administrators or moderators or staff members do you have the most fun working with?
Oh, yeah, that comes and goes. I mean, I usually work quite closely with some of the admins for a while, and then switch around. Lately, I've been working on the Tory Fortress, when that started up. That was also fun.
Any consistent favorites that kind of pass up, make you laugh the most, maybe?
Sorry, I didn't hear the last question.
Oh, is there anyone in particular that makes you laugh the most, or at least gives you the least hard time when you're working with them?
The funniest one?
Yeah.
I think A.B. Wave, he says some pretty funny things. Yeah. He just have a nice way of putting things into English. I think he probably cracks me up the most.
Avwave. All right, well then, big shout out to Avwave. Congratulations. I know there's some stiff competition about funniest people, so congrats on winning that. I'm going to ask a little bit about what is it about Tori Bash that makes you want to keep coming back to it and working on it? I know you said specifically that you feel you can't work on anything else because of how time-inducing this is. But what element of Tori Bash are you most proud of? Like, I hit the nail on the head with this. It was the right move.
No, I think all the people involved with it and the community. And there's always new things going on. And, I mean, every time you log into the forum, is something crazy going on, or it's just fun.
What specifically about the community do you most prefer? Obviously, the game is basically controlled by it. The moderators and administrators are basically chosen by its own peers and whatnot. So what elements do you really love about Tori Bash and its community?
I like the creative boards, right? The art board and the mods board and the scripts board. And, so more on the creative side than the trading side.
Awesome. And I guess this is my last large question, and I get this a lot. How often are you peeking in to the suggestions board and really taking into consideration a lot of the different ideas that get passed around for next versions of Tori Bash? And is it
definitely before each release?
What's that?
Before each release, I always go through it.
Is there anything in particular that we can look forward to, maybe that we've seen from the suggestion board?
Real-time ghosts.
Real-time ghosts? That's for spectating.
I think.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's the only new suggestion I've heard in a long time.
Awesome.
I think, I mean, since the game has been going on since 2005, about. I think I've heard most suggestions more than once. But sometimes there is something new and that no one has thought about before.
That's it's really interesting.
But we try to do, I mean, the suggestions one by one, as long as they make sense and they fit with the timetable.
All right, well, I appreciate all of the time that you gave us. I really love the fact that you supported Tory Bash Takeover so much. We cannot thank you enough. Obviously, we want to provide the best Tory Bash channel possible. Is there anything at all that maybe you could try in the future that we could work together and do some sort of collaborations and make a more publication?
Yes, of course. I mean, just drop me a message on Skype and we'll see what we can do.
All right, fantastic. So it seems. All right, so on that note, guys, Hampa has stated that maybe I'll be able to contact him in the future and we can do some future things with him. But for now, if it's okay with you, Hampa, I'd like to probably open up the room, let them ask some questions if they want. If you want, I can put you on the stream call, and I can hot seat you and just let them have fun, because I know a million people have been waiting to see you.
All right, cool. That's good.
All right, great. So I'll add you to that Steam call, and I'll end this recording here.
All right.
All right. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you very much.